Well, the Penguins played a near brilliant game. They were hard on the puck, they were fast, they were aggressive, and yet they lost again. This time to the Colorado Avalanche 4-1. Hi, I'm Dan Kingerski on the Pittsburgh Hockey Now platforms, YouTube and Facebook. You might be as conflicted as the Penguins locker room, as conflicted as I am on how to report on the game Tuesday night. The 4-1 score, clearly not indicative of the actual game. Colorado scored a couple of late empty net goals to make the score look more lopsided than it was. It was otherwise a dead even game for most of it. Colorado gets a late power play goal. Anthony Beauvillier, who had a game Tuesday night. He might have been the best Penguins forward, or if not one of the two or three best Penguins forwards. Colorado didn't have a power play the entire game, so you know your margin for error on a penalty is zero. Beauvillier kind of got the stick into, forgive me, it might have been Makar. Down he goes, and Colorado gets a power play with 5.5 to go. You knew exactly what was going to happen. I turned to the people, around me, like, well, this how this ends. And of course, Casey Middlestat gets the goal. Bit of an X's and O's note on the Penguins penalty kill. I'm not sure why Erik Karlsson was on the PK with 4.5 minutes to go. That was a little bit of a head scratcher by either Mike Vellucci or Mike Sullivan to send Karlsson out in that situation. Unfortunately, it was Karlsson caught between which decision to make, either pressuring the puck on the left, on his right, or dropping back to cover a wide open Middlestat. They had, both flanks covered or open there. Karlsson, unfortunately, did neither. He went one way, backed up, ends up getting caught in no man's land, allowing a, saucer pass right past him. Middlestat slams it in for the game winner. So here's the bigger issue we're going to talk about with the Penguins. And I'm not entirely sure how to phrase it all, but the reality is they played their best game. And yet they didn't have it. Just as they did against the Rangers on Sunday. Just as they did for 35 minutes against the Capitals, coming right out of the break. They are playing a lot of good games and losing. What does that say? Well, you can look at it two ways. I think the more unrealistic view is, well, they're playing well. What did Mike Sullivan say last weekend? If we play that game 9 of 10 times, we're going to win a lot of them. And the reality is they keep playing the good game and not winning them. Here's the more plausible, the more grounded reality is the Penguins aren't good enough. The Penguins are relying on too many unreliable players. Not that they're bad. Not that Anthony Beauvillier is bad. He, quite frankly, is a very good, structured 200-foot player who brings a lot to the game. But if you're relying upon him for offense, you're going to be in trouble. Kevin Hayes, at 32 years old, his offense has dropped dramatically. He's been getting great chances for 6 weeks, 2 months, more than 2 months, and not converting. After a little while, it stops being snake bitten or, he'll break out, and it becomes reality. In Kevin Hayes' career, listen, he's playing really well. But if you're not scoring despite X amount of chances over the course of a couple or a few seasons, that becomes the reality, regardless of what the analytics might say. So once again, the Penguins have great analytics, bad results. You tell me, I know you analytics monsters will kind of come after me in the dark. But if you do this, if you look at that, there just is a delineation between the advanced statistics papers and the reality of hockey. Sometimes bad players get good results and good players get bad results. And over the course of a couple of years, well, that is reality. So the Penguins are kind of caught in that vortex right now. Looking around, Sidney Crosby's quote on Tuesday night was, he's like, we did a lot of good things. You don't get participation points. We've got to find a way to win a few of these. Alex Nedeljkovic was great in goal. There was not a thing he could have done against either of the Avalanche goals when he was in the net. I mean, he only allowed 2. Stopped 21 of 23. The Penguins as a team allowed only 23 shots before they pulled Nedeljkovic. And they did that with really great puck pressure, a strong forecheck that didn't let up. But I don't know if you noticed this. The Penguins completely busted up the Avalanche breakouts. The Penguins very often parked a center or a forward, probably the F3, right at the blue line to take away the Avalanche breakout, their favorite breakouts right up the middle of the ice. The Penguins took that away from Colorado. How many times did Colorado start to exit the zone only for the Penguins to come right back at them? The Penguins' third line with Kevin Hayes in the middle, Philip Tomasino and Danton Heinen was everything but spectacular. They had the puck in the offensive zone. I kid you not, it seemed like the entire, every minute they were on the ice. 5 scoring chances, 1 allowed. 4 high danger scoring chances, 1 allowed. They had a 12-4 Corsi advantage. And yet, nothing in the net. Again, you're relying on unreliable scorers for offense. This is what happens. So this is kind of where the Penguins find themselves for the rest of the season. That was game 64. Things aren't going to get better after Friday, the NHL trade deadline. If they did, Dubas might be a wizard. This is going to be a running a theme for the Penguins. Unfortunately, they're also human beings. So as they keep playing up here and losing, that level of play is probably going to come down. For those of you cheering for a top 5 draft pick, I would say the last few games are probably a pretty good indication they've got a chance. The problem is the other teams ahead or behind them, however you want to phrase it, the teams who have the first 5 picks are equally bad. So go figure on that one. The Penguins just might have to settle for that 6th overall pick. They're not going to win many more games, but neither are those teams either. So if you enjoy the Penguins and watching them play well, you liked Tuesday. The Penguins went pillar to post. They went toe-to-toe with the Colorado Avalanche. They shut down this high-powered offense. They generated offense. Score, just forget the score, I suppose, if you're a Penguins fan. So from the Avalanche media room, I'm Dan Kingerski. We are off to Vegas on, is tomorrow Wednesday? I don't even know what day it is anymore. Yeah, we're off to Vegas where the Penguins are off for a day. They've got practice for a couple of days, and then the game in Vegas. One Penguins player actually said to me, boy, I don't know, 3 days in Vegas is a long time. I'm not sure that's a good thing. And I said, there's no such thing as too many days in Vegas. I said, you just have to learn how to walk out of the casino. Just learn to walk out. There's always a hot dog. Find a joy somewhere else, right? You have to find something else to do besides watch that ball bounce or the cards turn. But I think the Penguins probably they could use a day off in Vegas, because it's not like they've quit. They just don't have the horses to run with the teams they're playing. And with that, I'll wrap it up. Now I'm Dan Kingerski on the platforms. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and say yippee. All right, take care. Have fun.